So my topic is how to integrate Flutter into native Android and why. So the question is your team still building apps like it's 2009, even though it's 2022 now? By the way, 2009 was a good year. There was no flood, no pandemic, no war. But today we are going to talk about how to make mobile apps in 2022. So the agenda today is, first of all, in last month's meetup, we had Jeremy, the mobile team manager from Betterment, a large financial company, who talked about transitioning from native to Flutter, and they had like challenges, and also he talked about the impact on the team and on the business. So my talk is kind of like focusing on why we choose Flutter for mobile app development. As I mentioned, I integrated Flutter into Android. So I'm gonna do a demo like for the Trevello app and also the feature that was built by Flutter. So after that, I'm gonna do a code demo to show you how to integrate Flutter into native Android and how to transfer data between Flutter and Android. So I think we all know the benefits of developing mobile apps natively, but then I think nowadays the issues with native app development are becoming more and more obvious and unbearable now. So you have to have like one dedicated team for each platform, and the devs have to work on the same feature or logic twice. Because there are different platforms. So I think it's not surprising that the implementations on the two platforms are sometimes like they are different as well. As a result, you will have different bugs on different platforms, and they have to be fixed separately. And you will have like non-consistent user experience. For many teams, I think their mobile apps may be like existing for so many years. So you will have to like deal with legacy architecture or features or business logic. And all of these will slow down the development process. And when you have like different teams, then you will have different capacities. For example, you may have like a high performing Android team, but then their iOS team may be lagging or vice versa. Then as a result, like you will have like features done at different times for different platforms, and it will be very hard to synchronize the releases. And I think this list like goes on and on. And as a result for the business, you will have a slow and costly development process. So what's the solution? I think more developers. I think unfortunately, like hiring more developers doesn't solve all these issues fundamentally. Cross-platform app development is the solution. So with cross-platform app development, you will have one code base, you will have one team. It will be more cost-effective, and also you will have like consistent UI to give users the consistent experience. And I think there are other like benefits as well. So I think the question is like, why Flutter? Like with cross-platform mobile app development is not a new idea. So we have had Xamarin, React Native. Flutter is the newest. So why Flutter, and what is Flutter? Flutter is Google's UI toolkit for building beautiful natively compiled applications for mobile, web, and desktop from a single code base. And Flutter's tagline is beautiful native apps in record time. So I think there are a few like keywords, beautiful native apps, and also record time. So meaning, I have like developed with Flutter. With Flutter, you can just do any UI potentially. And also like you will have some native apps. Users won't tell any difference. And also it's super fast when you develop with Flutter. So we are going to have a look what are the good things about Flutter. So these are just a few things. First of all, Flutter can be compiled to native code. unlike React Native, which needs a bridge. So it is like a separate step. Flutter uses Dart, the language, which is very easy to learn. So basically, when you want to develop Flutter with Flutter, there is a very low barrier to entry. So many, I think the Flutter team noted that many people with no experience at all, they were able to say build prototypes or mobile apps with Flutter. And also they also stated that you don't need any previous mobile app development experience for learning Flutter. And another feature is this hot reload, which is so when you, as soon as you finish typing or coding, you can see the results in the emulator or in the real device. Unlike native like Android or iOS, you may have to wait for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or sometimes even longer to see what it actually looks like on the device. So this will like speed up the development process. And because people like love Flutter, so they have built a large community. As a result, it's more likely the Flutter developers can get support from the community, and also the community, they can like create new libraries to share so that can be used by others, and eventually will help people develop with Flutter as well. The last point I want to make is Flutter makes engineers more versatile. So I have been like an Android developer for years. So I wish I could like make an iOS app. So when the pandemic started, like in 2020, I was able to use Flutter to publish an app on Apple and on the Play Store in 2 months. So I think this wouldn't be possible if I was like developing it natively. But then with Flutter, everything is possible. So you can use it for web development. You can release an app for Windows or Linux or Mac. So yeah, there's no limit and there is a lot of potential. So I think we have I have talked about like some good things about Flutter. So then let's see some statistics. So in 2019 and 2020, we see like very quick growth in Flutter. React Native doesn't change much, and some other cross-platform technologies, they all like declined. I think, yeah, this started was like in 2020, but I think the market share of Flutter will be much higher now. Yeah, so I think some global companies, they have transitioned from native to Flutter. So this graph is from eBay. They were using, I think they were using Flutter for eBay Motor. Then they did survey. Then their developers found that Flutter is more than twice as fast. When they use like Flutter for iOS and Android, they have like one code base for 2 platforms. Then how can it be like more than twice as fast? The reason is, I think these are the reasons. You have just one backlog. You have one set of meetings. You have synchronized releases. And because you don't have like 2 teams, I think for every mobile team, it's always like when you want to organize a meeting with an Android dev and also iOS dev, you have to make sure both are there. If one is not there, you might have to postpone the meeting. And even if they are in the same meeting, they may have like different understandings. Then as a result, they may like implement the feature differently. And those cause all kinds of issues. And because like you have like one code base, so whenever there is an issue, you just have to fix it like once for every platform. And obviously the last point is like there is one source of truth for all apps. So I think I've talked about like the good things about Flutter. So I want to talk about like why my team chose to integrate Flutter into Android. I think the first thing is like one of the features that I like the most, I didn't talk about just now. So which is like widgets. So in Flutter, everything is a widget. Widget is like a component or a building block. So it's like the text view is a widget, the padding is a widget, the font is a widget, everything is a widget. So the main goal of Flutter is to allow people to just like put all these blocks together, and then you get a mobile app. Obviously, I think it's similar to playing Lego. So you just like there is an architecture that is already set. So you have to say use these widgets in certain ways, but then similar to Lego. But then you can put them like together however you want. Then you will get a mobile app. So I think that's why like Flutter is so easy to use and also is like loved by many developers. Then the next feature is like hot reload. With our Trevello app, like the Android app, it was so slow to compile every time. I think when I started there, it was like taking 20 minutes. Whenever I make some changes, it would take another 20 minutes. So I had to say, change like use offline mode so that it doesn't say try to update the libraries. Yeah, but then with Flutter, it takes no time. The next thing I like about Flutter is like everything is in one place. So with Android, you will have say XML files for layouts, and for iOS you need a storyboard to build the UI. Even though like for these platforms you may not need those. No, I think for yeah, you can say you can create a UI like with just Java code or Swift code, but it's not really how like the native developers do it now. But then with Flutter, because they have so many tools and also they have this reload, so you don't really need like separate files. So everything is written with the same language, which is Dart. The next point is like our team is under-resourced. So when I started, we had one iOS dev, one Android dev, but then the Android dev is on extended leave because he has some health issues. So should we have like one iOS dev and one Android dev, or should we have like two Flutter devs who can do the same thing? So I think the answer is it can't be clearer. Yeah, the last thing I want to make is I think, so I'm generally happier when I code with Flutter, because when you code with Flutter, you don't really have to worry about like whether this feature can be achieved or not, because you know most of the cases it can, because it's so good with the UI development, so you don't really have to worry about it. Yeah, the stress I think is very low. So that's why I think I try to, no, I already did. So I integrated Flutter into native Android. Then the next step will be, say, to integrate Flutter into iOS. Then gradually we will be able to share the source code between these two platforms. And yeah, so at the end we will be able to have like two Flutter devs for mobile app development. So that will be our goal. So next, I'm gonna show you how like demonstrate our Trevello app. Yeah, for anyone, if you know the meaning of Trevello, feel free to message me. I'm just trying to move this toolbar away. Okay. So Trevello is a social app for travelers. I think the idea is like you don't have to like travel to see the world. You can see the world through this app. So when you travel or you go somewhere, you just like take some photos, make some videos, then you share on our app. Then other people, they can they can comment. Yeah, so I think that's the whole idea. So this is the home screen, like we are viewing some images this user posted. And also another feature is meet up. So for example, if you are going somewhere, you're going to travel somewhere, you can ask people to say whether they can travel with you or they can meet you there. So I think they can say do like a post here, or they can say we also have like a meetup feature which is under development. So that will come up very quickly, very soon. I don't know when. So I can see like if you can mute yourself, that would be good. So yeah, so in the feed we have some like nice little features. For example, this card shows like I'm ranked 11th in Australia so far this week. So I will show you that screen very soon. Yeah, so if I scroll down, then there are some little features. For example, trending topics. So giving users more ways to interact with the app. Editors picks. And also, yeah, you can follow people. So this screen shows the posts from the people you follow. So at the bottom, if you click the explore screen, this screen has all the little features we have. So, for example, you can check out these travelers near you, explore these cities, Rome, and there, this is like a nice little game, so you can play with to get a discount. Trending users to follow, how to earn credits, etc., etc. And yes, and in our app, and you can also say like browse the tours in certain cities. Then you can also make a purchase as well. So this one shows you the tour in Mountain Island. This one shows you more details of this tour. Yeah, so I clicked on the last icon, so which is the it shows like the chat feature, so you can chat with the people. And also, if I click on the top icon, it will show the profile. So all my posts will show up here, and also the trips. Yeah. So the next feature I want to show you is the reward screen. So like, yeah, if I, oops. So when I click on this, like this one is our rewards feature. So we have like we have many ways to give people credits. So these credits are like real money. So you can use them. You can use it to make purchase. So 2,100 credits is equivalent to 21 US dollars. So when it's like converted to Australian dollars, it's about $27. So here we have like a status area. So when we get like more status points, our status level grows. So I started with a rookie, then I will become an explorer next. And when I become an explorer, I will also get like 1,000 credits, which is like 10 US dollars. Under here, we have like use credits, status leaderboard. So I'll show you that. Yeah, so this shows it's like a little gamification. So we can check out our rank here. And also under your activity, it shows how I got the credits. So yeah, I can just use the app every day, or I can say create a popular post. There are many ways to earn credits, and also inviting friends. So these are the status points. So the next feature I want to show you is written by Flutter. So this is like a new feature. It's still in progress. So you may see things that are not perfect yet because it's still in progress. So when I click this banner, it will show the new invite feature. Yeah, so it shows the gift card image. And then the users, they can choose like a different gift card image. Yeah, then they can share this like through Gmail or message. Yeah, so this is the feature that I did with Flutter in Trevello app. So now is the exciting part. I'm gonna show you, like, do a quick code demo. So I'm gonna show you how to integrate Flutter into native Android, and also how to communicate between native and Flutter. So I just want to give like a quick summary. So I think Flutter can be used to make beautiful native apps in record time. The devs code with Flutter are generally happier and more productive, because when they are happier, they are more productive. Mobile teams, they can start using it for new features. They don't have to say like replace the whole thing with Flutter. And gradually they can transition to complete Flutter. And the next point is like most teams transition, like they transition with their native app. Developers are getting trained to code in Flutter because Flutter is very easy to learn. You don't have to say, get rid of all your native app developers, you get new Flutter devs. Most of the teams, they don't do that. I haven't heard any teams that do that. In the early stage of the transition, it may be very slow because like you are just using Flutter for part of the app. Then, for example, in the app, you want to make some API calls. In the Flutter module, you still have to handle the API requests, etc. So early stages, it will be a bit slow, but once you finish like setting up everything, the productivity will skyrocket. And also, yeah, so I think that's why like in Trevello, we have started using Flutter for new features. But then the other day I was like reading news, Tabcorp Tabcorp has been using like Flutter for the Vision app. I think, yeah, when I was working in lottery, I knew that I think they started in June last year. So for the devs, if they wanted to learn, they could stay. If they wanted to leave, they were fine to leave as well. So I think they have one team to maintain the existing native apps. And then they have like another, like, I think in the news, it says like, they have like 200 people building this Flutter. It's not like just an app because it's for terminal, it's for, I think for web, for mobile, for everything. They have 200 people now. They also have support from Google. So it's like one of the largest companies in Australia trying to transition from native to Flutter. But I think obviously like Flutter is not for everyone. So I think for most of the apps, like if your app just consumes API, you don't do VR, AR, you don't like use a lot of hardware of the mobiles, then your apps will be perfect for Flutter. Yeah, so I think that's all I want to share today. So yeah, for this talk, I've done some reading and like I have put the references here, so I will share these like these slides. So for everyone, if you are interested, feel free to have a read.